All right, guys, welcome to the first episode of DreamScope, the broadcast that inspires. I really want to give a quick thank you to everybody who is supporting this, that's all for this kind of conversation, because this is one of my dreams that is literally becoming a reality. I really feel that everybody has a gift, everybody has a purpose, and by hearing other people's dreams and their gifts and their purpose and their journey stories, I know that it sparks something within you that helps you take that leap or that next step on your journey. So I'm really excited for this. Guys, if you want to have comments on the side, that's fine. What we're going to do is a one-on-one interview. And then at the end, if you do have questions, it would be best to hold them towards the end because we're going to give a few minutes and we'll actually let a few of you pop on here if you feel free to ask Viviane some questions. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, thank you. Welcome, everybody. I have the privilege of introducing to you the lovely Viviane Aires, which most of you know her as Be Bonita. Be Bonita. So I'm just going to read a little bit of her bio. So Viviane Aires is a makeup and skincare expert, enabling women and men to realize their full potential and their inner and outer beauty. You can find Viviane on Periscope, Twitter. She's always broadcasting. Her spirit is amazing if you follow her. She has the most incredible times of just dancing sometimes on there and sharing her world with you. So I'm not going to take up by reading a full bio, but I just wanted to introduce you to her real quickly. Miss Viviane Aires. Welcome, darling.
Thank you. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you for inviting me for this party here. I feel honored to be part of your first broadcasting, the DreamScope. And also I want to tell you that I'm inspired by your every morning affirmation, and we are reading the same books, girl. We are going through the same thing, and it's very easy to go Oprah on everybody when it comes to us. It can be a little lonely and it can be a little scary. But so I just want you to know that you're not alone. I'm here too.
Awesome.
Yeah. So a little bit about me.
Yeah.
And you can keep me on track because I can talk.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I kind of feel like people have bios, right? And they have all these accolades and profiles and it describes what you do. But I'm always interested to knowing how a person really describes themselves. So like, who is Viviane? Who are you really on the inside?
Well, I am a dreamer and I am a manifester. At times I forget about that. I'm from Brazil. Okay, so let me start from the beginning. I'm from Brazil. I've been in the US for 15 years now. And I had an opportunity to also live in Italy and also Japan. I've done some modeling work and also perform as a dancer. I was part of a Brazilian cultural group, and so I lived in Japan for 6 months. But I always wanted to come to US because I was into sports growing up, so I was very I admired the American I can do anything mentality. So I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to live or go to US sometime in my lifetime. And so I lived I went to Italy, I was 19, and then I went to Japan, I was 23. So while I was coming back from Japan, we had to do a connecting flight in LA. And I looked at that American flag and I was like, one day I'm gonna be here. And 2 years later, I was introduced to an opportunity to come to US. And it was very difficult at that time to get a visa to come here. It still is, but back then it was even worse. Mm. So because I already had an Italian visa and a Japanese visa in my passport, I was able to get a visa, quickly, like in 15 days. So when a friend of mine introduced the idea of coming to US as a nanny, as an au pair, I said, sure, of course I want to go. Anywhere, I don't care. So then I signed up for it, and then there were some families that were interested and hired me. But then every week was a different family. So the first, and then at that time I was taking English class, but that was very basic, very basic. I was always into the English language. So I learned, and I was good at it because I used to translate American songs to get the meaning, to understand the meaning of it, American music.
Yeah.
So when I had the chance to take English class, then I met, an American there. He was a teacher, and then I said to him, "Hey, I got this opportunity to go to US." He was like, "Oh, that's so awesome. You just dive into it. You're going to have a great time because you're going to improve your English, and you're also going to experience the culture." So I said, "Great." So I was reporting to him, my process. And then I said, "Hey, my family, there is a family that is interested in me. It's from Nebraska." And he was like, "Nebraska?" And I said, "Yes, I don't care. I want to go. And he was like, "Well, Nebraska, I don't know." "Well, but yeah, sure." So then the following week was a family from Chicago. So he was like, "Oh, my sister lives in Chicago." And I was like, "Yeah, I heard great things about the city. It's beautiful. I don't care. I just want to go to the United States." So it didn't work out. So then the third family was from Pennsylvania. Well, the guy, the agency that was talking about this opportunity was saying Philadelphia. So I said, "Yeah, I'm going to Philadelphia now." He was like, "What? Philadelphia?" I said, "Yes. What's wrong?" He was like, "I am from Philadelphia, and I'm going back now after two years." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so awesome." So actually I have somebody, if anything goes wrong, I have somebody that can, support me, whatever. So guess what? That is exactly what happened. So right then it was a manifestation because everything, it was in place to make this happen, because I actually grew up in a near town to Salvador, Bahia, which is Bahia is my
Bahia.
So at that time, I moved to Bahia, which is the coastal city, which everything happens, art, culture, everything. And it's a big city. So I told my family, "Hey, and I can't stay in a country town." And I always felt like I was born in São Paulo, which is a great city and a huge city in Brazil. And then my mother and my family, we moved to Feira de Santana, Bahia. So I always felt out of place. So when I had the chance to travel internationally and come back to the country town, then I was like, I was having the itch. So moved to Salvador, and I rent a room, and I was living out of a room, and I was working in 2 jobs, and I was going to school too. And then I also paying for the English school as well. So I couldn't go home because I didn't have the money. And at times I didn't have money to buy food. I was on Slim Fast protein shake because it was cheaper.
So as this is going on and you're having, the struggle part, what was it inside of you, or what was your focus? What was the dream that kept you going, even though you're in states where you're on a Slim Fast protein shake diet? What is that dream for you that makes it that makes you go to that extent?
Well, the dream, it wasn't a dream. It was something in me that always pushed me to do more, to wanting more. But one of my inspirations definitely is my mother.
Yeah.
My mother, she left her hometown and she went to the big city in São Paulo, and she was a maid, she worked as a maid. And I've been exposed to jazz and classic music and Chanel No. 5 and great things, not because my family had the money. It was because my mother was going home with those things. And so I grew up with that kind of mentality. And there was times that later on, we kind of, made our way, but then, things went sour. My mom and my dad fighting, all that stuff. And then my mother moved back to Feira de Santana. And then now my father is not working. Now my mom, it's, making pastries and, selling door to door. And for me, I was confused because from one lifestyle to another lifestyle was kind of like a shock to me. And at that time I was going to school. I got a scholarship to go to a private school. So my environment was also different. My reality was super different. And then in Brazil, we do half-day school. So first in the morning and in afternoon. So I used to sell pastries with my mother in the afternoon, still with my uniform on, and then do my homework at night. So
that was the tone of the house, huh? It was interesting when I was.
My mother is my main inspiration, and she used. And there was times that we hit bottom. We were on eggs and beans, and there will be friction, and then we'll be like, we are poor. And my mother would say, we are not poor. We are rich in spirit.
That's amazing.
Never forgot that. So
yeah,
that's a sum up story of that.
Yeah, when I was reading your bio, it really hit me. The fact that you even included your mother in your bio, so many people, they write bios about themselves and it's like, I did this, I went here, this is my degrees. And you just talk about how, when you were this little girl, you would see your mother as she's going to the marketplace, putting on her rouge and all these different, the makeup, and then coming home from the end of the day and washing her face. And I really connected with that. So I just like to hear a little bit more of that, about your mother, because I think from what I read, huge inspiration to why you're so passionate about.
Gonna try to not get emotional because I'm not emotional. I'm passionate. Yeah, my mom and my dad, I love them to death. But my mom, it's the reason why I'm here. She lives through me, and one of my dreams is to give it back to her and give back to my family. So she is the reason why I'm here, and why I like good things and great things. I'm wearing Chanel right now because my sister got me some Chanel. And you know what? I live well here. And in Brazil, it's not that we're like poor, but it's modest. It's a modest living. But my mother always had this thing about just living, thinking big and wanting more than just the environment that we're exposed. And then my mother she left her hometown. She was 18 and she went to São Paulo. It's just like you're from North Carolina going to New York. And then met my father, and then had myself, my sister, my brother. I'm the oldest of the three. And so my mother is everything, and she taught me a lot. She taught me perseverance. She taught me about not giving up. But when I won this beauty contest in my hometown, and that's when the Italian trip opportunity happened. And at that time, I didn't have the money to go to Salvador. So Salvador, Feira de Santana to Salvador is an hour and a half. Mm. So I was traveling back and forth every day because I didn't know anybody in Salvador. And my mother banked everything. She banked and she said, here it is. I couldn't do it. You go and do it. Mm. And I did. And then the opportunity to go to Italy to do some modeling appeared. So I left home. I was 18, 19. And then when I got to Milan, the modeling opportunity didn't happen. And then I was working with in a Brazilian restaurant I got the job as a hostess, but they didn't have the space to get another hostess. So I ended up going to the kitchen and assist the chef. So I was a sous chef. So I had the opportunity to learn a lot about cutting vegetables and stuff. So that was great. It was a great opportunity. The contract was over. I went back home, and then another opportunity to go to Japan. And da, 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 da. So we can go on and on, girl.
No, you have an amazing story. Like I said, just reading your bio, I was just like, wow, this needs to be a book, because I could read it all day. It's so inspirational, to see somebody that comes. One, you come from a place that I'm not familiar with, I'm from little town, Mississippi, I don't know people from Brazil and, struggles that happen outside of my little tiny world. So thank you for just opening that up to me and everybody that's listening. One thing I did want to ask you, I saw you on the Global Meditation Scope. You seem to have a lot of practices in place. So I kind of just wanted to ask you that, what are those practices that you have? What are your daily habits or things that you do that keeps your mind right in those times where you're eating beans and eggs?
My faith, I always was into metaphysics. I didn't know what it was. My first book that I read back in Brazil was, and very briefly, it was Deepak Chopra, right? And I was into angels, and I was into crystals, and but then I was going to Baptist church. I was going to Adventist Christian base. Believer was it was Christian, and then so I was everywhere. Even the Afro-Brazilian religion, I was, part of it as well a little. But always something like there is something more than just this. Mm-hmm. I always felt that God wasn't judgmental. I always felt there is no punishment. God don't punish. God loves. So there was always this question. So I fell in love with Deepak Chopra's writing, and then I really dive into more of that when I got to US. And the family that I worked in Florida, because the family in Philadelphia didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And so one of my friends said, Viv, why won't you just stay? And I said, no, I want to master the language. I want to save up some money because I still need to help my family. So I'm going to take a chance to go to Florida and work with this family. So it was great because the grandfather of the kids that I was taking care of, he gave me that book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I was like, okay, what is this about? And then my English was good, but it wasn't as refined as today. A 15 years should, right? So then I read the two pages, and I was like, whoa, what is this about? And then I put it away. And later on, 4 years later, when I got into aesthetics, then I was around people that are into science of mind and, metaphysics. And so I was like, okay, I remember this. And then I started reading, these books. And then I was curious if there was a center that I could go to. And then there was one in New Jersey. And then I found out that through a friend of mine that there was a center here in Philadelphia. And then so I've been a member for like 9 years now. So going back to that, I meditate. I meditate every day for 30 to 45 minutes. It was very hard for me to start a meditation before because I'm everywhere. And so I went to just like an intro to meditation class, and they said, the best way for you to start off with is with a timer and read books about it, because then you can work your mind to work with your body. And so that's how I started. And then I start reading and listening to audiobooks about meditation. And then now 4 years now, I've been meditating religiously. And sometimes like I'm off like a week, but I also feel off. So then I get back to it. So meditation is one. Prayer, it's morning and night. Before I go to the bathroom, I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful that you woke me up.
Yes.
And, it's going to be an amazing day. guide me through this day, show me what I need to see, teach me what I need to learn. That's my prayer.
Awesome.
And at night, I do the same thing.
And I think that
my mom and my father, you know, my mother has a routine. She prays for my brother, she prays for my sister, and she prays for me last. And I said, Mom, why do you pray for me last? And she's like, oh, because it's the longest one. So prayers are everything.
Yes, definitely. I think everybody can attest to those moments. Like you talk about the book that you got, like you remember those key moments. And so I wanted to ask you about, when did you really, when did it hit you that, this is my calling, this is my dream, this is the purpose? When did you have that moment?
When I was back home, prior to coming to US, I was, that room that I rented was close to the beach. And I used to sit there and just listen to the waves and just be in that moment. And I used to run in the morning and just go and just sit there and just look at the ocean. And I will always look at that horizontal line and I always wondering what was over there. I want to explore over there. Beautiful. So I always have this pull. It was more than just Viviane, So for me, where I was, it wasn't enough. I had to search for more. And so there was not a moment. Every moment is special to me. The moment that we got connected, it's magical to me. The moment that I have my son, it's magical to me. The moment that I meet people that are inspiring, it's magical to me. So I can't pinpoint the moment. But there is something, there is something within me and around me that guides me to places and people at the right place at the right time. Because the poor Viviane here, I've done my house cleaning, I've done my babysitting share, I've done clean houses, office, all that stuff. But when I got somebody introduced me the idea to go to aesthetic school at that time, like 2000. I got here in 1999, 2002, and 2001. Yeah, 2001. I was working as a hostess, and then I got a job in an art gallery, cleaning the art gallery. Got introduced to art like that, and I got familiar with Black art, and at the same time, at night, I was working as a hostess, and then I met someone, and she said, you know what, you should consider going to aesthetic school. You're into makeup and fashion, da-da-da-da. So I said, okay. So I went. So I finished my course, and then I'm also a massage therapist. So I met someone, and he said to me, Viviane, I can't make it to this client. Can you cover me? So I said, oh, sure. So I went to the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Philadelphia. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in this place. I didn't have an idea what the Ritz-Carlton at that time was. So I go to the spa and I do the massage, and tip it was $50, and I was like, wow, great. So I like this. But at that time, I still was in school, so I wasn't sending money home because I couldn't. Because I was paying for school. I had a roommate, all of that stuff. So I called home, and I think I shared that story the other day. I called home, and my mother was pissed off because I couldn't send the money. And so she's like, oh, why you didn't send the money? We need it. And I said, Mom, I'm doing this. I'm not doing the cleaning work anymore. I'm devoting to this opportunity. And she said, well, don't you get confused, little girl. You are an immigrant. And Brazilians, they go to America, and they live in bonds, and they do house cleaning and babysitting. Why would you think that you're different? So a contrast for me, because that's the same mother that told me to not give up. So I said, Mom, you don't understand. I don't want to be another immigrant. I don't want to be another immigrant doing what is expected to be doing. There is an opportunity here and I'm going to dive into it. I was screaming on the phone because I was hurt, because I was homesick. And my mother, that was, that's my pillow right there. She was telling me those things. So I hung up the phone and I didn't speak to her for 2 months. And then my sister called me. She said, hey, call mom. She's sad, da, 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 da. So I talked to her, and 3 months later, I sent half of my paycheck home. And I said, your daughter is working at this 5-star hotel and making money, and I don't have to clean toilet to send money home. I can actually do what I love, which is make people happy, make people feel good. That's what I love. And then I was introduced to become a trainer for a cosmetic line. And then it's another story. I was able to travel nationally and work with fancy upscale spas and destination and places that Oprah been. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something in me. Like when I see the opportunity, I dive into it. Then I ask questions later,
That's amazing that you have that trust factor there, because every story that I hear you tell, it seems like you have no idea what's on the other side, but there's something on the other side, and you don't have the safety net necessarily that some people need to move forward, but you just keep doing it, and you get to one door and then another door. And, I call that faith walking, and it can be so scary. It can be so scary for us, so that you have that boldness and fearlessness in you to allow you to do that. I think it's just simply, inspiring to me completely. And I've thoroughly enjoyed hearing more about your story today. To kind of close it up, just for time's sake, I'm enjoying this. I could talk to you all day.
Me too.
I just want to, I know, right? It's amazing. I just kind of wanted to ask, what's next for you? What's the bigger picture for you? What's coming up for you?
For me, I really want to use Be Bonita as, I want to do it full time. I have Be Bonita website, blog, whatever, the .com for since 2011. And I do go through, I trust in the universe, the divine love, God, whatever you want to call it. And it's a magical moment. But when I have to think, then that's where I get stuck. So BeBonita.com, I see it. I can smell it. I can taste it. I can see the success already. The process of really putting the dots in place scares me, because maybe I'm dreaming too much. Maybe this is not. Maybe I'm supposed to be here. Maybe and should and all that.
Yeah.
So my dream is to Be Bonita is a brand for me. Eventually, I want to have products, a book, speak engagement. I'm all about inspiring women and men, inspire anybody with my story, and also with things that inspired me to leave my hometown, to be able to travel internationally, to walk away from situations and relationships because I didn't want to be there miserable and resenting life. So if I can't change someone or touch someone's heart, that's for me is everything, So Be Bonita, it's a lifestyle brand where my purpose, my mission, and my intention is to inspire women, to remind all of us that we have the responsibility to commit to yourselves and then give to others first. So Be Bonita, look and feel, and Be Bonita. Once you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, then you become beauty. You become yourself, and you affect everybody around you, especially your kids.
Yeah.
I have a child, you have a child. So So for me, that's what Be Bonita is. My dream one day, and I know for sure I'm gonna meet Oprah. I'm gonna talk to her, and we're gonna have this great like brainstorm session. She's gonna offer me a online show. Who knows?
Girl, well, I see it all over you because, like I said, one, like for those of you who are listening to this, like we literally met, like how, I don't even know how long it was. I feel like I've known you for way longer than the time period that we've actually like just met online. And I can just feel it all in you, that spirit, you know, that essence, that you have the determination, and all those characteristics are amazing, but you just have this heart that I can feel that really wants to help people. And that to me is just special.
Thank you.
Just so special.
Thank you.
So I'm going to close it with that. I would love to talk to you all day long if I could. I just really wanted to showcase you, get you out here, let people know your story. And guys, if you're just coming in or if you're just tuning in, this is Viviane, and she is Be Bonita on Twitter, Periscope. You can find her at bebonita.com. Just connect with her, connect with us. I will be posting her story of basically the recap of what we talked about today on my website, mywallofdreams.com. So be on the lookout for that. And if you didn't get to chime in and hear what was going on, this is also going to be available on my YouTube channel. So now I just want to open it up for everybody. And if you have any questions for this wonderful woman, I'll unlock the seat if you want to pop in, or if you just want to ask a question in the comments, we'll take them. We'll do this just for a few minutes. If you have any further questions that can't be answered today, you can definitely tweet Viviane at Be Bonita, me at C Scratch, and you can use the hashtag DreamScope. So we have